Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology. And we're going to take a very fun and exciting look at this new moon in Aquarius, this new moon in a square to Uranus, this new moon that is going to have some level of unexpected, exciting, new beginning. A change is in the air. We have been rounding into this change for a while. Now, I've said this for a very, very long time. The energy that has been around us since July of last year has been one of letting go, seeing the underbelly of certain people for exactly who they are, people that are not in your vibe anymore. They are not a part of your energy anymore. And little by little, for months, we have been going through an energy of let it go, piss on you. I don't want you anymore. This can go, that can go, donate that, donate him, donate her. Not our vibe anymore. This week has had little bits of change all the way through it. And for many of us, we are either going through little bitty things that are going to culminate into one big change, or you don't see any of the little stuff at all. You just have a massive, unexpected turn in events. And again, if you don't like change, this is not your week. I've said that before. We are in a very interesting energy. Now, this is a new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. This new moon is in a square to Uranus. And Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces, a mutable sign. Uranus is in Venus's sign. It's in Taurus. It's in a fixed sign. This is a new moon in a fixed sign. We are transitioning for something that is going to be for the long term. Now, for some of us, little bitty things that have amounted up to one big change has been got fired, broke up with, heard something wrong with the baby daddy, the baby mama, heard something going on in the background, found out somebody was cheating, found out somebody was lying, found out something was going on behind the scenes. We heard something that we didn't necessarily want to hear. We heard something we didn't necessarily expect to hear. Some people got served certain things this week, especially with that Mercury-Pluto conjunction back on Monday. But the main vibe of what's been going on as we get into the new moon, and the new moon perfects on February 9th. I'm actually recording this on February 8th during the actual Sun-Uranus square. But there's been a whole slew of small little transits that are circling around this new moon. Many of us are getting excited. We've been feeling excited all week. We've been feeling that momentum pick up even more. We're feeling more and more recognition in unexpected ways. And that's a big part of the energy. That's a part of this new moon. Other people, you've been feeling restless and resentful and frustrated. And by God, I don't know what's going on. I don't like the way I feel because, again, you don't like change. And then something's going to come out of the blue and, oh my God, where did this even come from? The change is necessary. But this new moon is meant to instigate a sudden, unexpected change. Many of us are going to do something out of the blue, out of the box, like just like the smallest thing is going to hit and be like, yeah, chuck it in the fuck it bucket. I'm out of this one. And if you guys ain't noticing, like I'm so vibing in this energy, the cuss words are just coming out. So if you don't like cuss words, this is not your episode because I've been cussing since this morning. Oh, there's so much of this energy that we're either wanting to start something very, very new or start something that is going to break us out of the funk, break us out of the mold, break us away from an old way of doing things. There is meant to be unexpected things to this week. But a lot of what culminates in a very quick moment leads to a long-term change. That does not have to be a bad thing. Wrap our heads around change. It does not have to be a bad thing. If you take a look at a chart, whenever I put this up here in just a little bit, you're going to notice that everything is going in between four signs. Four signs. The new moon is in Aquarius. So is Mercury and Pluto. So there's that. This new moon is squaring Uranus and Taurus, and that's where Jupiter's at. Saturn, the other ruler of this new moon, is in Pisces. But in Saturn's other sign, in Capricorn, we have both Venus and Mars. Depending on who your time lord is. Now, I don't usually use the words time lord. I usually say activation planets because it makes more sense to people. But for every year we live, we have a time lord. We have a planet that is specifically activating us and taking care of us for an entire solar year. For those that don't know what a solar year is, that is birthday to birthday. So many of the planets are active this week. Understanding how this new moon is going to play out for you can be very, very different for everybody. Because if you're going through Mercury activations, for example, Mercury is not really close to this new moon. It's in the same sign. But Mercury's been doing its own things. Mercury made a conjunction to Pluto on Monday. And then right after the new moon perfects, as we go into the weekend, Mercury will square Jupiter. His energy is different. If you're going through Mars Pluto activations, you are very much feeling inspired to make some level of a physical change. In a lot of ways, we're changing something in our environment. We are even creating something, or we're becoming inspired to create something. And we're looking at some area of life where we want to take an action to transform it. If you're going through Venus activations, you haven't even quite really been able to feel how something is changing yet. Because Venus just this week squared the nodes. So she hasn't even had time to truly fathom that we're shifting more towards gains. And even the gains that are going to be had, it's still going to be hard to fathom because Venus is heavily feeling, and all my people that have been going through Venus activations, and Venus is your time lord right now, you guys have deeply been feeling that south node in Libra. And that doesn't go away. I just did this. I'm a Scorpio rising. I had the south node going through my house for my first house. And that's my natal placement. So I deal with this all the time. You guys are getting far more aware of things that are impacting you, and you're feeling them in your body. And even as we start to round towards gains, you guys will still feel that south node energy. And not all of you have been able to handle it well. Some of you are really, really frustrated with it. It's impacting your health. It's impacting your body. There are things that are going on right now that's directly telling you to not be around certain people. So this new moon in Aquarius, the shock to the system, since Uranus is in Venus's other sign, that can have a whole different meaning for you. And that might be why you're not okay with change, because you've already been dealing with so much level of purge for months now. The purge, the release, the outgrowing has been necessary. Everything that we've been dealing with letting go of the past since the summer, letting go of people that don't vibe with us anymore, learning certain habits in regards to whether like we're okay with certain people. Like we've had the exact same type of person that mimics an old situation come back into our lives that is meant to like teach us a lesson all over again. We've all been going through it. How that manifests, whether it's through coworkers, whether it's through relationships, whether it's through friends, whether it's through clients, whether it's through family members, doesn't matter. How that's been manifesting has been manifesting for a reason. It is to show you what you need to let go of and prepare you for where we're going next. We are starting to bridge into the next, into where we're going next, into where we need to shift our focus now. And for some people, this week's new moon, this week's squares to Uranus and trines to Uranus, everything that's hitting Uranus, this is meant to be something that shifts our independence. There is meant to be excitement, but if you're not expecting some of the energies this week, it is making you stressed. It is making you feel restless. It is making you question what is the right thing to do. Because the out of the norm situation, this thing that's going to break where the quote trope, always the way we've been doing it, the traditional way of doing things has been, that is where we're meant to go next. And for some people, breaking out of conformity and breaking out of the norm, not doing the thing that you would normally do, not normally being the whipping boy for somebody, not taking on other people's bullshit, not just sitting there and allowing everyone to walk all over you in some way, shape, or form. That's the plan. We're not supposed to do this anymore. And a big portion of the energy as we start to go through this new moon and we continue through February and we get into March and we get into April is about understanding the transition of what's going to be the long-term energy for us. Now, in the moment, the new moon can be the most mundane thing possible, but energetically, this new moon has a full-on click in it with how we're going to continue from here. So understand, we've been in the purge and letting it go energy for quite some time, but now we are trying to focus and really trying to shift our momentum into a different direction so we can finally start to have those gains. And little by little, all the way until we get into eclipse season, we're going to see those little inklings of gains, of purpose, of drive, of where we want to be next, where we're going next, how we're going to be vibing next. They're going to start to be felt. They're going to start to be seen and recognized. They're going to start to be known. We're shifting. In this new moon, we're shifting. I hope you guys are excited for it because I certainly am. Okay. If you have never listened to a new moon video with me before, that is okay. Over the last month, we've made some changes in regards to this. So I pull cards for all the rising signs as we start to do a breakdown. And we will be mainly breaking down what's going on between the signs of Aquarius and Taurus. Unless in that moment, something energetically kind of pops out and says, do something different. So I do everything by rising sign. You can listen to your sun sign. You can listen to your moon sign, especially if you're a nighttime chart. I always suggest listening to your moon sign, but we're going to get into the rising signs now. And of course, we're going to start out with Aries and Aries rising. Now, Aries, this is a new moon in your 11th house of friends and network and colleagues, people that you choose to spend time with, people that you can meet with in regards to like in masses. And the thing about this energy right here is that your chart ruler, Mars, is in your 10th house of career. So for a lot of Aries risings, part of what's going on right now is like you're making sudden changes in your environment, sudden changes in your surroundings, sudden changes in regards to career, sudden changes that are going to impact your goals for the future with Mars in the 10th. A lot of this can also be a sudden change that impacts your personal image. Now, that can both be good and bad. So just be aware of that energy, Aries risings. There's a lot of things at stake. And for a lot of you, you are planting long-term seeds for where things are going to start to come together. There is a shift in certain friendships. There's a shift in certain connections. Some of you, this is going to impact your finances because this is a new moon squaring Uranus in your second house of money. By the end of the week, Mercury will also square Jupiter, who's in your second house of money. So understand, Aries risings, that there can be a lot of shifts that can cost you money, and or there can be a lot of shifts that can make you money. If somebody's costing you money, you might have to make a big change in regards to who you share your space with, who you share your work environment with, who you are doing business with, and understand that that can be a big portion of the change that you need to start reflecting on, because you could be in a moment where you're expecting to be making money, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, no, our expenses jumped up all of a sudden, and you weren't aware of any type of issues. You were unaware of any type of problems. And if that's the case, it's time to take a step back and take a very big, deeper look as to what's been going on in the books, what's been going on behind the scenes. The thing about having Saturn in your 12th house, and Saturn is one of the rulers of this new moon, is that there can always be something going on behind your back. There can be certain types of things that are going to be popping up that can be very, very blindsiding. There can also be things that pop up that directly impact your health. And that news can be what comes through anywhere between Monday of this week, whenever that Mercury conjunction to Pluto happened, all the way until the end of this week, when Mercury hits that square to Jupiter. Jupiter rules your 12th house. Again, there can be things that are impacting your health or the health of someone you love that, again, starts to make you make changes in regards to how you see the future. But a big portion of this energy is surrounded about other people and their energy impacting you, their energy impacting the way you need to make this decision. Their energy is creating the surprise, you know, that type of thing. So be aware that some of what is coming through right now is going to impact you in the immediate of where you need to do changes, but it's also going to be planting the seeds in your mind as to where some of the long-term changes are going to be. The first card that you had out is the 7 of Coins. This is literally about planting seeds. It is springtime. Plant those seeds. Pay attention to the little things. Pay attention to those little idiosyncrasies. Pay attention to the little things that are going on. Because after a while, 2 + 2 will equal 4. And it will make you aware of who you can trust, how things have come together, how things have been going, and what needs to change, what needs to transform, what needs to be different. The thing about the Death card is it's very much a transformational card. It doesn't have to be an end all be all for everybody, but understand that there will be an ending in sight in the near future. Is it happening during this new moon? No. Is it more likely going to be happening somewhere between March and April? Absolutely. Be aware of those people that could be potentially costing you money. And even though that moment can be very unexpected and surprising, you need to be slow about the changes that you take on, Knight of Coins. He's not a fast-moving energy. And as much as you like to ram headfirst into everything, you don't need to be fast-moving right now either. You need to be calm. You need to be collected. You need to be aware. You need to be strategic in the changes that you start to make. Pay attention to your surroundings. There are things that are unfolding for you right now that are going to impact more than just this new moon and more than just this moment. In fact, there'll be a big portion of what's going to impact you for the next 2 months. Okay. Okay. Get back to the screen. We're going to go to Taurus and Taurus rising. Went too far. There we go. All right, Taurus. So for you guys, this is a new moon in your 10th house. It is your career. It is your hopes and dreams for the future. It is your goals. It is your public image. Squaring Uranus in the first, there can be a lot of changes going on, and they can be very much directed about your decision-making process, considering Uranus is in the first. There can be some opportunities that can come through unexpectedly, but there can also be some unexpected changes that you decide to make to get yourself out of a funk, because a lot of Taurus risings have been in a funk for a while. Having both Jupiter and Uranus going retrograde, the timeline that they did really made a lot of Taurus risings start to withdraw and not want to connect with certain people anymore, because so many things were starting to impact your body, impact your mind, impact your health. We have been stuck in something for a while, and now we are going to start to finally take steps in regards to a new change, allowing new things to come together for ourselves, allowing new things to come to light. There's a lot of healing in this energy for you guys. And I actually feel like for a lot of Taurus risings, everything that we start to move forward to right now is to help you overcome past struggles, overcome everything that has come through, overcome all of the trauma that has been a part of the last 4 months of 2023, and even some of what came through in January. A lot of what happens next is about you learning a new portion of yourself. And every day is a step closer to personal power, self-love, and overcoming what has been lost. Many of you need a moment to regather your strength. Venus, your chart ruler, is in that 9th house. Some of you need R&R. You need to take a break. And while you're on that break, you suddenly get some great idea of how you want to continue into the future. And the people that you are surrounding yourselves with, they might not necessarily understand it, but in a lot of ways, many of you are going to be taking steps away from certain people so that way you can continue on whatever healing process that you guys are on. Because a lot of what is going to be focused for us moving forward is making a good foundation towards that future independence, and knowing that there's going to be a lot of things that need to be healed in the mind, in the body, in the soul between now and May. So putting that together, stop share. We are getting unstuck. We are learning to let go of all of the trauma that has recently unfolded. There's so much energy about breaking away from these things that have been so painful. And every step as we continue in this new direction, in this new idea, in this new mindset, is allowing so much more love to come through. Now, I don't mean love in the sense of you and another person. For some, it will be. But for a lot of you, it is about loving yourself, healing these parts of yourself that has let the wrong people in for so long. And so much more energy is about who you are going to be next. You are starting to realize the old way of doing things will no longer be an option. Many of you are trying to gather strength in regards to that. Quite literally, the strength card. And so many of you are moving forward in this next chapter of your life in solitude. But it doesn't have to be the most negative solitude. This isn't the Hermit card. This is the 9 of Coins. The 9 of Coins is a boss bitch card. 100%. It is a lady going through a garden that she tended herself. The seeds that she planted herself are now coming to fruition, and she is starting to see just how much of her own hard work and effort is turning into value. It's turning into money. It's turning into everything she wants it to be. It's her prosperity, not two people's. It's her part of it. And for a lot of people, where you guys are going to be going next is about creating your future independence, your future prosperity, and your future hope in regards to how you're going to succeed. Understand where we're going next is meant to help heal the negative things that you've been going through. Because Taurus risings, you guys have been going through it. And actually, it's been longer than just what has happened since Jupiter and Uranus went retrograde, and that was August. You guys have been feeling a lot of things like shifting in regards to home life and family, shifting in regards to like your surroundings, literally since April of last year. So much of this is going to start to really correct itself. And so much of where you are wanting to go next is also going to be correcting itself. So understand we're in an energy of whole new direction and letting go of these things that have been holding us back. Okay. Okay. We're going to go to Gemini. Gemini risings. Y'all so ornery. Y'all so ornery. Got your mind on everything. Really, you guys do. So this is a new moon in your 9th house. In the moment, you might want to get out of Dodge. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around this. I need to travel. Some of you need to get through and escape. Some of you need to be really focused on your personal healing. The thing about a new moon in this 9th house, while one of the rulers is in the 12th, escape, healing, overcoming old wounds, overcoming old trauma, overcoming certain things that have been getting very much triggered for you guys. There's a lot of energy around Gemini risings that is focused on healing old ways of doing things. We need to let go of certain things tied to the past. And there's a lot of internal work that is meant to be done. Some of you keep finding yourself like repeating certain patterns. You're meeting someone that reminds you of somebody from the past, and it's making you wonder, like, why am I so attracted to this? Why am I always around this kind of person? Why do I always find myself in this situation? What's going on in this moment? And again, that's because there's a lot of internal work that needs to be done. There's a lot of you that need to let go of certain things so that way where you're going next in regards to career and future and your goals can be more successful. Old love interest, old love connections, old love habits. You guys don't always realize that you can literally run into the same soul in a different body. The same mannerisms, the same type of personality, the same type of situation and situationships, and a whole new person. And little by little, there are things that are starting to awaken as to what needs to be healed, what needs to be overcome. Because a whole new person will be coming out of you, Gemini rising, as we get into the summertime. But a lot of the energies as we go through these next few months, oh, that's a lot of cards. Hold on. A lot of these energies that we start to go through over the course of these next few months are very, very specific to really putting you both on an internal balance and an external balance. You can be overwhelmed with the possibilities, overwhelmed with all of the things that are coming through, overwhelmed with all these internal cracks that keep happening. But they're happening for a reason. Now, for some of you, this new moon in the ninth house while Uranus is in the 12th is that you guys are starting to learn something new and you're finding yourself in a foreign environment, a foreign place. Again, even in this foreign energy, being somewhere that you're not used to being in a situation, being in an environment you're not used to being, there's still something that is going to instigate levels of healing. It's the same type of drama, just a different kind of job. It's the same type of situation, just a different person as your client. And you're going to be getting a lot of lessons in the experience. This doesn't always have to be a bad thing. You can find yourself going into something new that it's a new environment that can be helpful for you. But there's a lot of things that are going around with a whole new like experience for you guys. And depending on how well you deal with all of that, can really make the effort as to how you get through the next month and a half. Because when we get through the end of this month, your chart ruler, Mercury, is going to go into Pisces. And I'm not actually a fan of Mercury in Pisces. I call it screaming possum energy. If you haven't listened to my month ahead forecast, that's not going to make a whole lot of sense to you, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of energy that screams screaming possum. Understand that there is a lot of work to be pursued. There's a lot of things that are going to happen right now that is meant to give you a long-term scenario, something that is going to speak to your heart, speak to your mind, and really give you a lot of internal healing. The overwhelm, because you notice I was saying overwhelm a minute ago, can be easily guided through. It can be easily overcome. You don't have to get stuck in this energy. We have to be able to recognize in the moment, High Priestess, those spiritual lessons as they're coming through. You find yourself being back around a bad coworker, for example, but you're in a whole new company. Remember, you are in an energy of being able to start something new and put this energy in a new balance. Same thing. If you've been in an energy where you previously were in a bad position, and now all of a sudden you find yourself again in a whole different environment, but around a certain person that is kind of bringing up those old vibes all over again, you can also put that shit to bed as soon as it starts to come up and be like, look, you don't walk all over me. You don't talk to me this way. Understand that you are in the position of putting a lot of things in balance, and the level of success and hope and love and everything that you're wanting, they can come from a lot of this energy, but it's not going to happen overnight. You guys are in a long-term energy of restoring who you are, and you're really not going to start to understand who that new person is and where this new level of confidence is until we get into the summertime, guys. You guys are playing a much longer game, but it's going to be worth it. You're going to have lessons around friendship and knowing the difference between a lover and a friend that are really starting to cement themselves in right now. And many of you can find yourself discovering that you have been starting to play in an area that maybe you shouldn't be playing in. Some of you can be finding yourselves in a situation where people are playing around you in ways that they really shouldn't be doing because it's not healthy. Just understand that where we're going next for you guys and the changes that are going to be starting to shift in regards to how you see your future, how you see your career, how you see your goals manifesting, that's a big part of the energy. But there's still areas that need to be healed on an internal level. Some of you even on an external, like a physical healing level. before the new can fully set in. There's a lot of hope and promise in the energy for you guys, but it's a long game thing. It's not really going to come through during this new moon. I feel like for a lot of Gemini risings, this new moon is going to be the most mundane thing possible. Doctor's appointments, having to go do labs, wanting to travel, wanting to get out of Dodge, like wanting to do something very, very small. But the long game for you guys is understanding that there's a lot of healing that needs to happen before the new you can come through. And the new you is really not going to come through until we get to this summer. It's going to be hot girl summer for Gemini risings, I promise you. Okay. Moving this along. We're going to get to Cancers and Cancer risings. Babies, this is a new moon in your 8th house. Shared assets, shared resources, other people's money. We've had a lot of things going on either within partnership, within our business partnerships, a lot of you, because a lot of this energy is starting to really round you into where you're going to go next in regards to career. And this is one step in the process. Oh, Uranus is in that 11th house of friends, of network, of colleagues, our hopes and dreams for the future. Saturn is in that 9th house, higher education, higher learning, having to travel, having to learn through certain experiences. And the thing about Saturn in the 9th is it's going to be a long lesson. This is just one part of it. And for some of you, it's going to make you very, very aware that luck can be on your side, or at least it feels like luck. You're not wrong. You have every reason to feel like it's lucky. And understanding that there is a new path that is really starting to unfold in front of a lot of you. But be aware of who you're going into bed with. Be aware of who you're starting to do business with. Because they can be very, very fixed and very, very focused on one thing that is very imbendable, unflexible, immovable. They can be very set in their ways right now. It's very rare for a Cancer rising to be set in their own ways. They tend to alter and consider everybody's feelings because they are so in tune with those emotions. But this is a 8th house energy. So there can be opportunities that are coming through that if you don't necessarily tune into those opportunities, you might regret them later. So understand where we're at. There's a lot of work going on. The thing about a new moon in the 8th house is it has to do with, again, shared assets, shared resources. There's a lot of this energy that can very much be around money, but not necessarily your money. It can be tied more to other people's money. Some of you might have some focus in regards to debts that are starting to come through, a whole new debt that you're taking out. That doesn't have to be a horrible thing. You're signing a home loan. That's a mortgage. You're supposed to take out certain types of debts. So understand that there can be some of this energy that is just meant to set in at this time. But more of you are going through more business opportunities because the next eclipse that we're going to have is going to be very dominant in your 10th house of career. We have a lot of financial changes that are coming through. And again, you have a lot of energy that is starting to direct you, a passion that is coming through, a path that is unfolding in front of you. And this wand's energy tells me even more. We have a lot of fire that is going on. We can see where we want to go. We can see the possibilities. And the more we lean into those potential changes, the more things can really transform. It is easy to get caught up in this energy and recognize the luck. But it is also easy to sit here and wonder, am I leaving something behind? Am I leaving someone behind? And this is where I want to get really focused on the fixed energy, because we have the Emperor here right after this Four of Cups. If you have been doing business or in a partnership or in a relationship with somebody that has been very fixed in their ways for so long, and their way is the highway, there's a reason a new path is unfolding in front of you. It is because that immovable object has been holding you back, and you must really unanchor yourself as you move forward. But you can also replace one immovable object with another. And you can find yourself right back in a whole different situation where you get somebody that is set in their ways and not wanting to make specific changes. Sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Other times, the devil you know is the one that you know will never change. And change is what you are craving. Change is what you are desiring. Go with your desires. Right now, go with your desires. That's where more of this energy is focused for you. Okay. So we're going to go over to Leo and Leo rising. Babies, this is a new moon in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships and legal obligations, squaring Uranus in that 10th house of career and goals and public image, goals for the future. A lot of the goals for the future is very much reliant on the way that you're connecting with other people, with another person. For some of you, the way that you see your future is reliant on a legal matter, given the way some of this energy is unfolding. If your fear is that whatever is coming to light is not going to be successful, you shouldn't have that fear. In fact, you need to realize that it's time in a lot of ways for something to really change in your environment. You have been beating your head against a wall for some time. And you need to know that that's not the case anymore. Now, for some of you, this new beginning in that 7th house of relationships is going to make you recognize somebody that you shouldn't be a part of the energy with anymore. They shouldn't be a part of your energy anymore. And the thing that can happen when you have very heavy transits going through both your 7th and your 8th house simultaneously is not only can you have legal matters that are going to result in financial things as things continue, but you can also find out that another person that you've had a lot of trust in is somebody that you should not be trusting anymore. Because secrets can come to the surface. Those secrets, depending on how big they can be, can still impact your future. It can impact your public image. It can impact your goals for the future. Not everything that is coming to light this week, these sudden shifts and these sudden changes, are going to be fun. But a lot of the focus that you're going to be seeing is not necessarily focused on you. It's focused in regards to other people, other situations, them and their bullshit. And that can be a lot of energy if you don't necessarily know what to anticipate. So, again, a lot of this has to do with other people. And if you have concerns, especially in regards to like a legal matter right now, as to whether what you are trying to shift and change in regards to the way you're connecting to another person or in this situation, that this can be successful. It's just not going to necessarily be as successful as they want you to be. If you've been carrying the burden of other people's weight, of other people's drama, of other people's bullshit for quite some time with this 9 of Wands energy, understand that, again, it is time for a successful environment change. It is time to do this new thing that you've been putting off for quite some time with the Ace of Cups. Now, if you find yourself having to make big changes based off of another person's actions, and if you're dealing with more of a narcissistic mentality, understand that they can suddenly say, how could you betray me? How could you act this way? How could you do this to me? Why did you cheat? Why did you steal? Why did you do these types of things? Why did you hide this type of thing from me? It's not about what I'm doing to you. No, no. I'm not betraying you. In many ways, I'm done with your betrayal. 10 of Swords. Many of you are going to be looking at the way that you see relationships very, very differently. And that's meant to happen because you are starting an entire 20-year cycle of Pluto in your 7th house of relationships. If you learn the lessons early on, you will start to recognize the people that traumatize, that hurt. And you will start to look for people that are more transformative in your relationships, in your partnerships, and in your connections. Transformative energy is a better Plutonian relationship than trauma, than a power struggle, than fear. If you have found yourself with a certain pattern of relationships up until now, you are meant to change that focus. And again, many of you are going to experience somebody that feels like that is a betrayal. It's not a betrayal. Doing the best thing for you and your mind, your body, your heart, especially if you're supposed to be in a partnership, if they're not doing what's best for the partnership, that's what's best for both of you, then you need to be focused on what's best for you. And you can do that without being in a narcissistic pattern. Understand that there can be secrets that come up here in the near future. Might not be directly during the new moon. You might see a shift in another person's personality based off of what they've been doing behind the scenes. And understand that for a lot of you, there's a whole different form of independence going into the future. And that can be very exciting for some of you. For others, it can be terrifying. But as it stands right now, your focus should be how you are connecting to other people, because that's going to be transforming over the course of many, many months moving forward. Because again, you're starting a 20-year cycle with Pluto. If people are causing abuse, if they are causing trauma, if they instigate fear, if they try to take power over you, if you constantly find yourself in a power struggle, it's time to let those things go. And learning the lessons of Pluto in the 7th house means that you can start to let go of those people that instigate fear and trauma and start to lean into people that are more transformative for you, that can help you understand your own personal power and not letting other people having power over you. There are a lot of lessons that are going to come through. And this new moon energy, following Pluto coming into the 7th, following Uranus just turning direct, can really make you aware of how you see people and how you see the future. Because it's meant to be different. And it is meant to change. Okay. Okay. For Virgos and Virgo rising. So this is a new moon in your 6th house of health. How you care for yourself, how you care for other people, how you are doing things in your daily life. There can be some sudden shifts to your routine that you were not planning on. Why? Because this is a new moon squaring Uranus. You can have sudden shifts in regards to work that are a little exciting, but you can also have other shifts that's going on that, again, you weren't expecting. Some of you might be getting called for work to travel somewhere unexpectedly. That can happen in the moment. Some of you can be finding yourself having to make big shifts in your routine based off of the conversations that have been going on between you and another person. And many of you are going to find yourselves very, very soon if not already, making certain decisions to walk away from certain situations. This does not surprise me. There's very specific reasons why I'm saying that. The two cards that came out together were the Eight of Cups and the Devil card. These weren't even your first two cards, by the way. But many Virgo risings are starting to really gain a different focus in how they need to care for themselves moving forward, because we've been stuck in a certain routine. We have been stuck feeling like things are only going to go a certain way. And the thing is like the rose-colored glasses of how we see certain people in our lives, they're starting to fall away. And as we continue more through this year, they're going to fall away more. As we get into next year, they're going to be completely removed. For many of you, the shift in regards to your routine is also a shift in regards to your home life. And this is a prolonged energy that kind of goes back to whatever events were starting to unfold over the course of the last quarter of 2023. That Mercury retrograde in your fourth house, whew, it did a lot. And it made many of you aware of the type of connections that you are in. And understand that this shift that's going to come through right now, whether it's a shift in your health, whether it's a shift in your personal routine, whether it's a shift in regards to work, this unexpected shift that is unfolding around you, that has been unfolding around you, where you can suddenly at different moments find yourself feeling very, very stuck. They're all meant to pivot you into a new heartfelt path moving forward. There is a reason we need to get through so many things. Hanged Man, Devil card, Eight of Cups. There's a reason we are feeling this inclined shift to make sudden changes. Many of you are about to walk away from something or someone. The other ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, and Saturn is in your seventh house of relationships. And the longer Saturn is there, the more he's going to make you realize what's important whenever it comes to certain love connections. Again, for some of you, the rose-colored glasses is very, very much coming off, because the way we saw people before was heavily influenced by Neptune. Neptune has been in your seventh house of relationships for over a decade. But over the course of these next 2 years, while Saturn is there, Saturn will start to make conjunctions to that Neptune, and it will start in Pisces. They will move into Aries together. There is a reason we're being forced to walk away from certain connections. It is because they were never good for us to begin with. We were confusing love. Some of it was based out of necessity. Some of it was based off of our own self-worth issues. But a lot of where we're going next in the shifts in our routine is going to be very, very heartfelt in the way that we pursue things moving forward. We need to let go of the heavy situations. We need to let go of the old situations. We need to let go of the old way of doing things. And that has been coming through to you so heavily since last summer, because that Venus retrograde in your 12th did a really big number. Some of you, you have been the toxic person, and you need to make changes. Shifts in your own routine, shifts in your healing, shifts in the way that you do things. And it is other people that are holding you accountable because they can't stand the way that you've been doing things. But that's not the bigger number. The bigger number is more of you are starting to finally see people for who they are, and you're starting to see who is going to be the responsible person moving forward. Some of you have needed to be held accountable. More of you need to hold others accountable and understand that the relationship shifts that are starting to come through are making you realize who's here for you and who isn't, who's a strong, serious, level-headed connection and who isn't. There's going to be a lot of shifts in your environment over the course of the next month or two. And many of you are going to find yourselves very much looking at other people or one person in particular in your life very, very differently. So don't be surprised. Okay. Moving this forward, we got Libras and Libra risings. Babies, this is a new moon in your fifth house of love and luck and romance and joy and happiness and children, childlike behaviors. We could be just craving a lot of fun. Let's do something out of the box. Let's do something out of the norm. Some of us are feeling very, very sexual energy right now. That's also because this is a new moon squaring Uranus in your eighth. Your sex houses are very, very activated. But that comes with a conundrum. That conundrum has to do with the fact that the South Node is in the first house. And your awareness to your body is so important right now. And if somebody is not a good vibration to what's going on in your body, then sex is off of the table. And you can have somebody that's feeling a little frisky themselves and all of a sudden like, hey, babe, you want to go to the bedroom? No, I don't. Not with you, at least. I'd rather go by myself. That can be very, very shocking. Understand whenever it comes to the sex energy, that can actually be very, very high this week, just based off of those two energies alone. And it can be a continued energy once Venus and Mars enter this fifth house. And that happens next week, guys. Mars is going to enter on the 13th. Venus is going to enter on the 16th. It's very, very quickly that we're going to have additional things going through that fifth house. So understand, if you are starting to feel like a really interesting sexual energy, or you're just like craving a lot of fun and a lot of happiness and a lot of joy, that makes sense. Some of you are getting a whole different focus in the way that you see things around children. That makes sense too. You can be wanting to do something new in regards to children, wanting to make a change in your environment, wanting to look for a new home or a new place that's going to be bigger, that's going to be better for you to have a family. Or if you have a family already, we're getting prepared for the idea of, you know, growing boys and growing girls. They can't share a room for the rest of their lives because here pretty soon puberty is going to hit and we got no other choice. We got to get more space. We need another bathroom. try living with a big family with a one bathroom house. That shit gets real annoying real fast. So understand that there's a lot of shifts and changes that can be around family, around the home life, around children. And for some of you Libra risings, if you actually work and specialize in children, understand that a lot of the energy around you can very much be around the path. Because I've seen that a lot with Libra risings. You guys are always wanting to keep things in balance and be fair. It makes you like natural teachers for a lot of people. And there can be a lot of things that are starting to make you aware of what changes need to be made, not just around you, but regarding another person. This doesn't have to be heavy. I don't feel like this is heavy at all. But there is some type of energy that can be very much focused around love, luck, and joy. And if you're feeling great in this energy, if you're vibing in this energy, then that is where you should be doing, is focused on where the vibe is going. But understand, not everybody is vibing, and I do understand that. And if you're wanting to do something right now, all of a sudden, that because you haven't been happy and your body is just feeling like, I'm just constantly miserable, I feel like I'm constantly in the wrong place, you can make a sudden change, and even in the financial sense right now, just so you can be happy. And that's okay. But that's a lot of this energy right now, is doing what makes us happy, doing what is healing to the heart, healing to the soul, doing something that makes us feel good in our bodies. So changes in the environment and, doing whatever is necessary to prepare for upcoming changes. Again, we can be talking about, like, the kids are growing, we have to get more space, we have to have a bigger bedrooms, we have to have the extra bathroom, we have to have that extra thing. That can be very much about a lot of this energy right now, because with the World card talking about the environment, the Four of Swords talking about preparation, there can be a lot of things that we are doing in pursuance of what we need for the future. It's not necessarily what you need at this moment, but what we need in the future. And again, this can still have a financial element whenever you take a look at the fact that Venus, your chart ruler in the fourth house, made a trine to Uranus in your eighth. There can be things that are tied to making adjustments at home financially to give us peace, to make us feel a little bit happier, or making adjustments around the home based off of the kids. There's a lot of things that are focused in a whole different set of areas. Some of you are going to be having to make some creative changes with this Magician card. Some of you are just looking at how to keep everything fair for everybody. And understand this Judgment card means that we're going to have to make some long-term decisions. So that long-term decision, again, can be something that impacts the finances, that is impacting the kids, impacting your personal happiness, impacting the way that you see your personal success, Six of Wands. And you can be making a very sudden change in this moment that can either be around the kids, for the kids, about your love life, about your sex life, or about your own personal happiness. And believe it or not, Libra risings, I feel like for a lot of you, it is about your own personal happiness right now. And that can be in a lot of different sudden changes that other people will not be anticipating. But with that South Node in your first house, the way that you feel is honestly the most important. You're going through an 18-month cycle that is focused on understanding that your environment is impacting your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your personal health. And anything that compromises your personal happiness, cut it the fuck out. Goodbye. Chuck it in the fucking bucket. Everything's getting chucked in the fucking bucket this week. Okay. It's not just for you guys. All right. Okay. For Scorpios and Scorpio risings, this is a new moon in our fourth house of home life, family, roots, ancestry, genetics. Not everybody brings up genetics with the fourth house. That's a dusty thing. I've seen a lot of things tied to us learning about our genes and our genetics and our family lineage in the fourth house. So I bring up genetics a lot of the time. Our third house, Mars, one of our chart rulers, is in the third house. Pluto, the other chart ruler, is in the fourth. So understand that a lot of what's going on right now can be an impact in regards to your connection with siblings. There could have been some sudden shifts and sudden changes in regards to them that is going to impact your family life. Many of you can find yourself, in the near future, maybe not directly during this new moon, but they're very much in the near future of having to make some type of adjustment at home because of what's going on around you. You've been on one path for a while. You've been in one situation for a while. And now all of a sudden there is a sudden change based off of another person. It doesn't have to be based off of a good thing. I want to be clear about that. Now, the thing about this fourth house full moon, new moon, wrong sign, new moon, is Saturn is in the fifth house of children. Uranus is in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships, legal obligations. Some of what comes through in the energy around this new moon, it does not have to be exact on this Friday, it can be anywhere in these days around here, is that there can be something new that's going on with another person that starts to impact your home life over the next few weeks. There can be something that suddenly is going on to another person that makes forced changes come about in your home life. The reason I say that is because next week, Mars is going to enter Aquarius. So is Venus. But Mars and Pluto are the chart rulers. Be very, very aware of the energy that's unfolding during the new moon, but also be very aware of the energy that's going to be unfolding next week on February 13th and 14th, when Mars and Pluto make their conjunction, because it will be the first conjunction in this fourth house. But we also got to remember, Mars just had a rebirth. We just had a Sun-Pluto conjunction that shifted our awareness to this fourth house of home, home life, and family. There can be a lot of disruptive energy that can come through, pivotal disruption that can come through, not just in the new moon, but actually in the week ahead, and a lot of choices and decisions that will follow. A lot of those decisions are going to have to be your decisions. And they're not even going to be for your own self. They're going to be for another person. They're going to be for other situations. Things that have either been going on for quite some time that's going to cause you to make a sudden decision, or it's going to be a sudden eruption of energy and situations that start to cause you to make a slow moving change and transformation to the way that you see home, home life, and family. Understand that there are decisions that are coming through, because we have two cards here that speak to that. The Two of Swords, the Two of Wands. Now, for some of you, this decision that's about to come through, you've known it's coming for a while, but you weren't going to make the decision until you were forced to make the decision. For some of you, the sudden energy of this Sun square to Uranus, Venus trine Uranus, Mercury square Jupiter. Some of you, based off of the events that are going to play out this week, are going to finally be able to make the decision that you haven't been able to make because something is going to present itself. Two of Wands. Some of you, this has nothing to do with family at all. This actually has to do with the people that you've been surrounding yourself with. And you can suddenly find yourself with an extra house guest here in the next few weeks, based off of what's going on in their personal life. Five of Cups, Three of Cups. You being there for another person can make happiness happen in the moment, but understand that you're trying to support somebody while they're going through hardship. For some of you, it's the other way around. These sudden decisions of another person, the sudden things that have unfolded, is going to fill you with hardship. And you're going to need some type of connection with other people to lift you up and lift your spirits. Understand that the person that you might be waiting for can be very slow moving. This Knight of Coins energy is not fast moving. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to go a certain way because I want to be sure. I have to be careful. Sudden changes are not their thing. They're one of those people that they don't like changes. But understand that there's a lot of fast moving energy that is going to make you very, very aware of what needs to change in your home life, in your environment, in your surroundings. That is going to be a big part of the energy over the course of not just this new moon, but actually over the course of the entire month ahead, the lunar month ahead. So that will be from new moon to new moon. A lot of changes are coming, babes. Okay. Okay. Right. Next up, we got Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings. This is a new moon in your third house of communication, siblings, short distance travel. Oh, marketing, branding. A lot of Sagittarius risings. You guys are making some really big shifts in the way that you are connecting with certain people. Jupiter, your chart ruler, is in that sixth house of health. There is a continuous theme of energy that is going on for you this year, how you care for yourself and how you care for other people. And a lot of this energy right now is making you really profess announce, talk about what you're doing differently, what you've done differently in your health, what you've been doing differently in your routine, what you are doing differently in the way that you care for yourself and the way that you care for other people. There's a lot of announcing going on. Doesn't have to be a negative energy. Now, a lot of the focus for you right now, especially as we go through these next few months, not just during this new moon, is about what's going to make you happy, your own personal happiness. Sometimes that means you're going to have to eliminate some assets. You're going to have to make some financial changes. Doesn't have to be a bad thing. We make space. We rid our things of this. We rid ourselves of things that are no longer good for us or no longer a part of where we're going next. And again, we have some level of change that is going to start to come through. And for a lot of you, the decision around this new moon is not going to play out in this new moon at all. It's going to play out once we get into Pisces season. That's just a few days away. It's not that far. Now, why do I say that? Because by the end of February, a lot of the transits are going to be in your fourth house of home, home life, and family. In the moment, you can be doing something different with your car. You can be doing something different in your commute. Again, changing something in your marketing and your branding. Something that doesn't have to be super heavy, but definitely something that's very, very new. But it's going to center your focus as to where something needs to shift in the home life, in your family, in your routine, in your health. You guys have already been doing a lot of routine and health changes already. So many of you are going to find yourself teaching others, explaining to others what that has been. And again, it's going to put a whole different focus in this area as we progress. We have a goal. We can find ourselves spending a little bit of extra money to get something handled around the house. We can also find ourselves doing something that is, creating some additional funds by getting rid of stuff that's going on around the house. But in the moment, this is not a heavy new moon. It's not a bad new moon. I feel like many of you are going to be voicing where you want some additional changes. And that is okay. Not everybody might feel that way, but all in all, it's okay. Some people don't like change. Y'all tend to be pretty good with it. So, I like most of your cards, by the way. Putting these in order. The first two that came out was actually the Page of Coins. So with the Page of Coins, pages can have to do with kids a lot of the times, but it can also have to do with like planting seeds, new beginnings type thing. We have a lot of new things that's kind of coming through. We've got this Queen of Coins. Many of you are, again, starting to explain and teach to others the things that you've been doing, and we're starting to really invest our energy into other people and teaching them the things that you've already been doing. Aces and pages always have to do with something new. But whenever you put these two together, there's invested time in your new energy that's already been there that can now be something that speaks to other people. We have a lot of new in this energy. Again, in the most mundane way, there can be some things that are going to be costing us some money. Either we need to sell some things around the house to, get a little bit more money out of them, or we need to shift some things around the house because they're costing us too much money with this Four of Coins. Now that really kind of speaks with what's going on between Mars in Capricorn, and next will be Venus in Capricorn, making those sextiles to Neptune in your fourth. I feel like a lot of the energy right now can really make you guys aware of changes in your environment. And the new moon is like an expression of, okay, we got to change these things. We got to do some different things. And the thing is, you tell a bunch of kids, we're going to make some changes. We're not going to have all these streaming services. You're not doing all this screen time. You're not doing something like this. In that moment, Is it a good change? Absolutely. Are they going to feel like it's a good change? Not really. Five of Wands. There can be some conflict. There can be some arguing. They're going to be like, why do you suddenly want to make this change? Why are you doing this? What is it, Mom? Because I said so. Ace of Coins was the next one that came through. There's a lot of new energy building up around you. And a lot of this new energy is your personal work that's coming through, because we are trying to really understand how we can let go of things that have been holding us back in the future. And we see the possibilities of new things coming through. That also means for some of you, you're going to be leaving some people behind in the near future. And again, the people we leave behind are necessary to leave behind, because there's something calmer and much more peaceful up ahead. Think about the Six of Wands. Is in the normal deck, this is a woman that is on a boat, and she's moving into the fog. And no matter which direction she's going, she doesn't know if she's going north, south, east, or west. She doesn't truly know if it's, dusk or sunrise. She doesn't know, but she knows where she's at right now, and where she's going has got to be better than where she's been. Many of you are in a path where you're going somewhere new. And many of you are going into a path where you're going to be meeting and connecting with all new people in your life. And right now, a big focus is creating a new routine, creating a new environment that allows for a lot of this new that's set to be coming through for quite some time. We have to do this purge energy of letting go of the past so all of the new can come through. Okay. Now, for Capricorns and Capricorn risings, babies. I love you. I do. I collect you guys in jars. I think I've told you that before. If I haven't, I've definitely told you all on a personal level if I've ever done readings for you. I love my Capricorn placements. And so much of this energy is meant to really shift your focus in how you see luck. Moving forward, your personal luck is changing. For some of you, you're going through massive financial changes. Some of you, you're actually going through a lot of reflective personal changes that are starting to allow you to finally feel happiness and finally start to connect with your inner child. You have done so much emotional changes over the course of the last few, I can't say last few months. It's almost been a full year now. Saturn entered Pisces in March. It's February, guys. It's been almost a full year. So many of you have gone through internal transformations that are starting to now manifest into external possibilities, external shifts in luck. And many of you are going to find yourself getting into something new here in the near future in regards to your finances, because a new path is meant to come through, a new beginning, a new possibility. Now, are we all going to have a brand new financial path as we get into this new moon? Not necessarily, but you can have new opportunities come through that make you aware of where you want to make personal changes for your own personal success. Who we rely on, who we connect with, who do we trust? There's a big energy that can make us very, very aware of who we can or should trust. There's a lot in the air. There's a lot of possibilities. Some of you are going to be finding yourself in the next few weeks, not just during the new moon, spending money in a whole new way, making money in a whole new way, connecting with money in a whole new way. And that is a big part of the energy. There's a lot of people around you that are starting to really, they've been magnetically drawn to you over the course of the last month and a half, but there's even more opportunities that are starting to come through based off of all of these connections that have been made. Your luck is shifting. And a lot of the ways that you've been dealing with things in the past are finally being let go of. Again, You guys have been dealing with Saturn, your chart ruler, going through Pisces since March. And many of you have had to really overcome the way that you have dealt with the past. Not only that, Pluto has finally, for the most part, left your first house. Now, we will have one very, very small little thing from September to November later this year that will reawaken the Pluto in the first energy. However, it is so small that I don't have a lot of fear for you guys. You might have something that brings back some old fears and some old memories, but for the most part, where we're going next, where you guys have struggled with personal self-worth and your personal issues, I feel like a lot of these things are going to finally be let go of with this Ace of Wands, this Strength, and this Six of Coins energy. There's new paths, new information, new personal strength, new beginnings, new levels of success and recognition that are starting to come through in your personal power. We have this Queen of Coins, we have this King of Cups, and we have this King of Swords. There's so much of this energy that speaks to the people that you have attracted towards you. The attention that you have been getting is now starting to manifest into a more tangible connection, tangible changes, financial changes for many of you, changes in your luck, changes in the way that you see love, changes in the way that you see certain connections that are meant to bring you happiness. There's a major shift for Capricorn risings. And I'm telling you, babies, I have Pluto conjunct my ascendant. I know what Pluto in the first is. It's who I am. You can transform that personal pain and that personal trauma into something so damn beautiful moving forward. You have just ended a huge 16 plus year cycle that you can now transmute into something that can gain you money, gain you power in regards to riches, gain you power in the way that you see your assets and the way that you see values and valuables. There's a huge relief in this shift for Capricorn risings. And the way that you saw your future 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, it is not going to be the way that you see the future moving forward. There is a massive change unfolding for you guys. And the relief that's starting to come through, it is real. It is tangible. You don't have to be scared of those same things anymore. And I know so many of you, I'm scared. Bullshit. Just because that ain't the word you like to use doesn't mean you ain't been scared. I'm going to call you on your shit on that one. Luck, happiness, self-worth, good fortune, career, actual fortune, prosperity, they are shifting for you in such a positive way. The excitement is there. You're seeing it. You're feeling it. It might be hard for you to trust, but it's there. Trust the energy. It's on your side. Okay. Okay. For Aquarius and Aquarius risings, this is you. It's a new moon in your first house. It's your energy. It's y'all. You making a change. You doing new things. You are being compelled to make certain changes. Some of you, it has to do with like letting go of the past and some personal changes. Some of you, it is allowing for new things to happen around you. But there's a whole new level of personal power. I just realized I went too far on that. That's coming through for Aquarius risings. Why do I say personal power? Because Pluto's in your first. Now, people that are born with Pluto in the first, I actually have this. a part of their life's karma is understanding how do we overcome abuse and trauma and people that try to control us. You guys have been going through such levels of isolation in regards to the trauma, in regards to the fear and the things that have been going on and the abuse and this type of energy. You guys have been going through something for so long that now it's starting to shape who you are becoming. And as you move forward in this next 20-year cycle of having Pluto in the first, you're really starting to feel your strength come through. But the thing about a new moon in your first house is it doesn't all appear during the new moon. You need the entire lunar month ahead. So you guys are going to need not just this new moon's energy, but all the way up until right before the new moon in Virgo. I'm not Virgo. God dang it. Pisces. So this entire lunar month ahead is going to change your energy, change your tenacity. A lot of attention is going to be on you. You will magnetically be drawing a whole different level of attention to you for the next month ahead. There's a new thing going on. For some of you, it does have to do with personal healing. Why do I say that? Because Venus made a trine to Uranus right before this new moon perfected. Venus is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. There is something that is meant to come to a close. For some of you, this is going to be around family and home life. For some of you, this is making some very unexpected changes, personal changes. So that way your home life can be more secure. You're letting go of an old habit, an old way of thinking, an old way of doing things. Your mind is very, very aware that if I don't do this, then something around my family, something around my home life is going to fail. And I want this to do well. I want this to succeed. I want this to be better. If you make these active choices for personal growth and personal change, then stability is very much a part of this energy. But understand you have to make both internal changes as well as the external changes for all of this to come through appropriately. In some ways, we have to leave the past behind, leave old habits behind. And please understand that in some ways, the energy could force you into making these changes by blindsiding you. And I don't feel like the blindsiding will come through in the new moon. I actually have a feeling that it can be something that comes through next week, somewhere between February 13th and February 16th. So be aware that personal changes are very, very much in the energy for you guys. Sorry, I always end up stacking these in a weird way. So first card you guys had out was the King of Swords. This is you. Your way of thinking, your way of seeing things, y'all being stuck in your head, y'all trying to look at everything from the big picture perspective, not realizing all the time that you are infallible. You are not perfect. I know it's hard to believe. And there is a lot of this energy that requires you to make very big calls, internal alignment as well as external alignment. You have to make certain decisions to keep things in balance internally and externally. You have to let go of those bad habits, those quick to jump to conclusions, those quick to judge other people type things. We have to let go of old ways of doing things if we want that level of stability to be possible. Four of Wands, Nine of Cups. To be happy, to have a happy home life, to have the stability, to get things corrected as fast as they can possibly be with the Eight of Wands. There is a personal decision, personal habits, personal changes that you must make for the betterment of your family, for the betterment of the way that you want your home life to be. A happy family is necessary. For some of you, you are going to be making some financial decisions in that, in regards to like, are you working too much? Is that taking you away from your family? If you're working too much, you know, taking a step back means also not making as much money potentially. And you might have to be really creative in what you do in correcting that energy. But understand that a lot of where we're going next is very much about you getting stuck out of your head, you making certain judgment calls, and you doing what's necessary to get a lot of things in alignment. A month is not that long. You will be making certain decisions to change things for yourself, within yourself. And if you do those changes very, very quickly, people will notice way faster than you realize. Way faster than you realize. Okay. Okay. Moving this along. Bring it to Pisces and Pisces risings. All right, babies. This is a new moon in your 12th house, the unknown, the unseen, and endings. Many of you are going to find yourself in a situation where you are having to let go of something or someone. That is okay. That is a part of the energy. But there's also a very different energy that I have been picking up on with Pisces risings now that Saturn is in your first house. And one of the things that I can feel a lot of you are about to let go of is you're going to be letting go of a lot of people. Friends, network, people that you surround yourself with. You're going to be letting a lot of them go. Now, why do I say that? Because Saturn is in your first. And Saturn's giving you a whole different type of backbone. And anyone that has been in your surroundings that has not been fair, that has not been good, that has not been right, that just uses and abuses you in some way, you are about to cut them out. You have a lot of energy that's going to be going through your 12th house. People that do you dirty, do you wrong. You're not going to put up with it anymore. The thing about Pisces risings is you guys are not always the first to stand up for yourselves. And that's not meant to be said in a bad way. But you're going to start to stand up for yourself. And you're going to force other people to see you the way that you need to be seen. Because it's in your energy to be taken more seriously. That's going to rock a lot of boats in the moment. But understand that it is very much in your energy to be more in control of how you need to be seen, of how you are moving forward. Everybody's had one impression of you while Neptune has been in your first, and he's been there for over a decade. But that mentality, that loosey-goosey type of energy, it's not the only thing that's going on anymore. And in fact, in a lot of ways, it's going to be ending. And the impression that people have of you is also going to come to a close. So again, people that don't take you seriously, that don't treat you the right way, that have a knack for using and abusing you, betraying you, no. We're cutting them out. They're going to be gone. There is an energy moving forward of quickly changing habits, changing our mindset. And there will be a lot of blindsiding over this lunar month ahead. And please note how I said that. That is new moon to new moon. You will have a lot of blindsiding, things that are unexpected, that will surprise you. Some of it will be with your family. Some of it will be within partnerships. Some of it will be within legal matters that really start to come through over this lunar month ahead. And again, there's going to be some things that need to be changed, some things and someone that need to be cut off. And regretfully, whenever it does come to the 12th house, for some of you, you will be experiencing loss. Some of you have already experienced it recently. Some of you are about to experience it if you haven't already. Listen to your intuition. Sometimes loss is a breakup. Other times, loss is death. You can experience a multitude of types of loss while we go through very strong 12th house transits. And please understand, this is a new moon in your 12th. You've already had the sun and Pluto in your 12th for a couple weeks now. Next week, Mercury and Venus are going to join the mix. There will be things that are very much about loss. And the more and more people start to show their colors, the more you're going to realize you cannot trust them. So again, the first 3 cards, I've actually already showed these, depending on if you were actually watching my hands and stuff. We have the 7 of Swords, we have the Tower card, and the Queen of Wands. The more and more people start to show their true colors, the more you're going to be making this decision to let people go. Big, small, doesn't matter the situation. With Saturn in your first house, your personal strength is really going to start to come through. And the amount of change that people are going to see very, very quickly when it comes to you guys is going to be magnanimous. We have this Chariot card with fast-moving energy. We have this new impression with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Wands. We have a new path coming forward. We have new messages that need to be heard, that need to be seen. Our intuition is so highly on point with the High Priestess. We are on point with where we are going next. But sometimes the only way that can fully come to light is, again, by making space. And there will be energies that are eliminated, released, lost, let go of. Something needs to transform. However, with so many things in your actual 12th house, some of you are going to suffer actual deaths in your life if you haven't already. The one thing that you guys can really expect with Pluto in your 12th is that death is going to be something that you become more familiar with in all levels, because Pluto is the god of the underworld. You guys are going to see these levels of energy far more frequently than you ever have before now that Pluto is here. The first round of it is likely going to show itself over the course of the next month or two, if it hasn't already. For some of you, I know it already has. But what you're also going to be dealing with is the aftermath of that same energy. There are changes afoot, and a lot of that energy is starting to make you level up and grow up. Some of you have already been feeling that growth for a while. Others, you're going to make other people see that growth in a whole new way. This can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. Doesn't really matter. Leveling up is definitely a big part of the energy for you guys moving forward. And a lot of you are going to sense that level up energy as we continue into Pisces season and into eclipse season. And eclipse season is late March going into April. I'm not talking about something that's years in the making. I'm talking about weeks. I'm talking about things that will be unfolding over the course of the next 2 to 2.5 months. That's not a long period of time, guys. There's so much change that is coming. And many of you are going to find yourselves being the responsible person in situations that you were not anticipating being responsible for. You are going to be forced to step into certain roles of responsibility that other people are going to doubt that you are capable of handling. You are. You are. You are in a whole different mental space moving forward. And the things that start to align themselves moving forward is not only going to shift the way people see you as an individual, they're also going to shift the way that you will be making money for years to come. your personal wealth for years to come. We're going to be dealing with that all right now? No. But I'm more focused on the fact that later this year, Saturn and Neptune will get within 10 degrees of each other. But next year, they're going to start their conjunctions. These conjunctions will start in your first house, but they will continue into your second house of money. So again, the little things that are starting to align and unfold now, the different levels of responsibility and maturity that you are going to start to show other people that they were not expecting out of you. You will level up. There's a reason that you guys have been feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders for a while. If you have been feeling lost, you will not be feeling lost much longer. Opportunity had just not shown itself, but it will be showing itself very, very soon. And in particular, I want you to be very aware of the energies that are starting to shape us between now and February 27th, 28th, and 29th. Because I really feel like the Mercury Cazimi in that conjunction to Saturn that will be unfolding at the end of this month in Pisces is really going to showcase and reveal a big portion of you and who you are now. The realizations and the epiphanies of other people will be there. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of things that start to shift in your favor once we get into Pisces season. So understand that unfolding right now is meant to release the past, overcome old things, let go of old habits, release certain connections that are no longer meant for us, because a whole new you will be coming through between now and eclipse season. And I love it. I'm rooting for you guys. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I'm in love with this new moon. I'm in love with where we're going next. I have been ready for something new and exciting to come through for so long. It is so hard to constantly be in an energy of letting everybody know shit's going bad. We've been in that freaking energy since last July. I'll post the link for like the original eclipse axis videos that I posted. Like I said then, I'm like, purge, purge, purge. We've been in such a big purging energy since last summer. We were trying to shift things into alignment, but only so much could happen because something wasn't right, something wasn't ready. We are far more ready. The energy is far more in alignment. The connections that we are making now are far healthier for us than they were before. The placements and the opportunity are far better for us than what was there before. We are starting to fall into alignment. There is an alignment energy with this new moon, even with the sudden, even with the unexpected. It's all meant to happen a certain way, and it's all meant to happen for a reason. Change is inevitable. Change is necessary. And this entire week leading up to this new moon is about change. And it doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be horrible. It doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. We are moving into a different direction. And the more work we are doing as we build this new solid foundation for what we'll be doing for the long term, the more time and money and energy we invest in this moment right now, the stronger things will be when we get to the next round of shit show later this year. April's going to be a shit show for one reason, but there's going to be a lot more as we get to the end of this year. Understand that we are building a strong foundation now. Now. So that way we can weather the storms of what comes later. This newness is needed. It's necessary. The unexpected isn't as unexpected as you think. And the way that it's going to continue for the long term, this moment was necessary. We are going in a beautiful new direction. Trust the energy that we're living in. Lean into the changes as they're coming through and accept them. Don't fight them. The astrology is here to warn us that changes are coming. Now we're in change. We can feel it. Some of us, we've been restless all week, feeling the anticipation, but hating every moment of it. But some of us have been relentlessly excited, like, yes, it's finally happening. Both people are right. Something is meant to happen this week. Something is meant to change. Expect the unexpected. It doesn't have to be horrible. Okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all of the new people that are starting to listen. Thank you for all the people that have been coming up on my Facebook lives. I am starting to do more on TikTok. You're going to see something regarding this new moon video on TikTok, but just know that more things are kind of coming through and starting to come through. So you're probably going to be seeing my face a lot more. So I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all that you guys do. And I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.